Hello everyone and welcome to the review show. Kieran Keogh here, your host, and today we're concentrating on Legends of Wrestlemania. WWE in 2009 came up with an idea. It's going to be WrestleMania 25 in April, so we're going to take out Legends of Wrestlemania. This is the game, this is the cover, the greatest game before WWE 12 came out this year. It was the greatest game in my game library, the greatest wrestling game of all time in my opinion, for the sheer brilliance, the sheer nostalgia for any wrestling fan. On the cover, Hulk Hogan is here, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Andre the Giant, The Rock, Bobby Heenan, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And on the back you've got a lot of great legends, of course. Relive, rewrite and redefine. That was the selling logo for the game. That's it there. Legends of WrestleMania. For the retro style of the action, this is based between 1985 and 1999. The Legends. Because of the style of them, the eras of them years, they brought in the 15 WrestleManias from them years, 1 to 15, and they brought in the Royal Rumble arena. They're the only 16 arenas in the game. I would have liked more arenas in the game. I would have liked to see the Saturday night's main event arena, which was in, of course, the SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, which you could take over the wrestlers from to fight legend versus current superstar, but you couldn't take over the Saturday night's main event arena, which was DLC that year in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. Never understood that to this point. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 was accompanied by 5 legends, who were, of course, Earthquake, Doink the Clown, the Bushwhackers, and, of course, also they included Vader. So when you've taken these 5 legends and a legendary arena and you've put them into that year's SmackDown vs. Raw game, and then you suddenly don't let them import into the Legends of WrestleMania game, THQ obviously made a blooper there as far as their organisation. They should have really sorted that out because it didn't make sense. But that's something I haven't understood since. But anyway, it's no big deal, I suppose, on retrospectively. But what I'm saying is, would have been good. But anyway, Legends of WrestleMania features, of course, the greatest legends in the history of the sport, or of the sports entertainment, I should say. Of course, it is a scripted sport, but of course, it is great fun. The colour, the spectacle, the drama, everything unfolds in the world of wrestling is all great. It's cartoonish, but it's brilliant. But of course, in Legends of WrestleMania, we seen 38 of the world's greatest legends. Of course, 4 of the all-time great managers. 38 of the legends, of course, include Jake the Snake Roberts, Mr. Perfect, Bret the Hitman Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Legion of Doom, Kamala, the Ugandan Giant. We've got Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid. You've got the Ultimate Warrior. You've got the Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Sergeant Slaughter, the Big Boss Man, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Ravishing Rick Rude. So many of the greatest legends. And then one of my favourite parts of that particular game was the creation mode. You could create other legends that you were given all the parts to them, but you weren't given the full part and the full character. You had to create them, and it was great being able to create the legends. 30 legends you could create to have in your roster, and that would add to the other legends. So the game really is great. I had 4 eras in this, unsaved in different memory pens. I had the early 90s era, the 80s era, and the mid to late 90s era. of 30 extras from each era, which was pretty cool to have. Really good Legends game, of course. Brilliant stuff. It is a lot better than Showdown, which I was talking about on my last show. It's a lot better than Showdown, Legends of Wrestling, and the predecessor, which was of course Legends of Wrestling 2. But it was really needed. The world of wrestling really needed it. A lot of people didn't agree with the gameplay system. They thought it was too button bashy. Well, I don't know if that's the correct term, but they thought it was too arcade. They tried to go all arcade, but they failed, kind of thing. They made it look kind of. They bulked up all the characters and made them look far more musclier than they should have been. For example, Yokozuna and Andre the Giant shouldn't have been so muscly. They should have been more fat rather than muscle. Whereas Hulk Hogan was far too muscly. They had him like he was in the early 80s, not during the period they tried to kind of capture, which was the late 80s, early 90s. And he had far too much hair, but then he did at a time have a more hair than he did in his prime. Suppose they just tried to make the characters look exact. They actually, I think, based all the characters on their their toys at the time, their action figures, which were made by I can't remember exactly who they were made by, but the toys that were made, of course, at the time, they tried to make the characters just like these toys. But Legends of Wrestlemania, great game. It's the game modes in the game were Legend Killer mode, where you had to go into a gauntlet and defeat all the legends as they came at you, one after another, which is pretty good when you do it first. But then it gets pretty. You start to lose interest in that particular game, mode, which is kind of is a bit of an annoying thing. And then relive, rewrite, and redefine. Of course, it is Wrestlemania Tour mode, and in that mode you go through matches from every Wrestlemania from 1 to 15, and you see a video package before each match, which is pretty cool. You can watch play the matches between, say, Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan, Wrestlemania 3, the famous build up to it, and then play the match. In the relive mode, you play it as Hulk Hogan and beat Andre the Giant. Do the famous slam, and then in rewrite, you have to play as Andre the Giant and beat Hulk Hogan, won the title, and then in redefine, you might have to play it in a steel cage. That's the idea of rewrite, relive, redefine Wrestlemania Tour mode. It's the same with all the major matches. Honky Tonk Man versus Jake the Snake Roberts. The matches between between Undertaker and King Kong Bundy, WrestleMania 11. The match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13, and of course the famous match between Stone Cold and The Rock from WrestleMania 15. Of course, other matches that are brought back in this game. Of course, The Undertaker versus the Big Boss Man, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania 15. You have WrestleMania 8, Undertaker versus Jake the Snake Roberts. WrestleMania 8, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. Of course, WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior. WrestleMania 5, Macho Man Randy Savage Hulk Hogan. WrestleMania 5, Jake the Snake Roberts, Andre the Giant. Rick Rude Ultimate Warrior.